I just figured something out in the shower. First, let's talk about the concept of two. If you look up etymologies like I do, going back in the language, the preceding language before that one, you'll find that a lot of letters or a lot of words come out to mean, to come from a source that meant two. Like, you go from Latin to proto. Well, actually, you don't have to go anywhere. Just have to go to Old Latin to find that Latin bellum, a familiar word to people who don't even know Latin. War means, bellum means war. It comes from two, as in duo, duellum. So it was changed to bellum because of a sound change in Latin. And yeah, so it comes from two, and that is seen in Latin. It's seen in, definitely seen in your Semitic languages. If you follow words back from Aramaic to Proto-Semitic to pre-Proto-Semitic to Afrasian, my favorite, you're going to find a huge variety of concepts that came from a simple concept of two, because two has to do with, if you want to talk about splitting in two, if you want to talk about all kinds of things. So what did I find out? I've been thinking about the Hebrew letter shin, which supposedly means teeth, but it clearly does not look like teeth. It is not an image of teeth. So shin means teeth in Hebrew, but the Hebrew letter shin is not of teeth. So how come? Well, if you look at the proto-Sinaitic shin and the other preceding alphabets with a shin, it's usually like our W, more or less. It's like twin peaks, except they're pointing down. And Collis, I could cite any number of his papers, so pick your year, but Collis says that is a picture of breasts. And I agree. I came to that conclusion independently, and I was delighted when I found that I got somebody to refer to on that. So how do you resolve this discrepancy? So how do you resolve this discrepancy? The fact that earlier it looks like breast, but it's not ever called breast that we know of. And later it's called shin, and everybody says that means teeth. Nobody really questions it that I can find, that shin means teeth, but it is transparently not an image of teeth and couldn't have possibly come from an image of teeth, the modern Hebrew letter shin. It's not a reduction, for one thing. Almost all of your letters, if you look at later scripts coming from earlier alphabets that go from chisels to pen and ink, and from an artistic tradition to a mature scribal tradition, these letter forms have to be simplified from complicated things like these into simpler ones, like Egyptian late hieratic. And that always goes along with a reduction in what I'll call topological complexity. Basically, simpler forms that, they're simpler forms. That's it. And they can't add complexity other than that's naturally imbued by the motion of the human hand and arm. That means the most complicated thing that it's likely to do is to add an ascender or a descender. That's things that go up and down or all around, or a little loop. That's the two most complex additions that you're going to accidentally add to a letter form as you are bringing that scribal tradition forward through time. So what is my insight of the day? Well, the insight of the day is that, well, I was thinking about breasts. Excuse me. And I realized that, well, I don't know what I realized. It all just came into my head all at once, but one of the things that came into my head was the fact that people in our modern English sometimes jokingly refer to a pair of breasts as the twins. In the 90s, people used to do that on sitcoms. And I realized, well, that is, wait a minute. So shini and similar words from the same root that modern Hebrew letter shin, where teeth comes from, certainly at some point in some language, at some time, it meant twins and it also meant breasts. I realize that sounds like a leap, and I'm telling you about this before I've dug up my evidence. I just figured this out. But I'm sure it won't be difficult for me to find that evidence, just find some lexicons that say, in this place at this time, shini, or a derived word, means breast. And then we'll have it. Very, very simple, straightforward, and parsimonious. If shin or shini means breast, at some place close to the early development of the alphabet, that'll be my evidence. That's easy. Shini means breast. Shin means breast. The letter is breast in appearance and in name. That means there will be no other evidence, no other argument required for me to unlock this, the development of this letter of the alphabet. Do you follow? I'm just dying to make these things simple as they are instead of more complicated than they have to be, but the explanation's gotta be there. I would love to explain it to you in detail. Anybody who's interested, reach out to me and I will. If you don't quite follow me, I would love to explain in more detail. I'm dying to talk to anybody about this stuff. I need a senior writer. I need people to bounce ideas off of, and you will, and it'll be rewarding to talk to me about it if you want to be my friend or collaborator, because guess what? I'm right. How do you like that confidence? It's well placed. I'm right about this shit most of the time. So if you want to hop on board, contribute to science, help knowledge move along, be a revolutionary and an outsider, lend me some of your influence. This is Jed Frey. I guess I gotta sign off now. I don't even know if I explained everything about this. It's simple. Shin means breasts in some preceding languages, and shin looked like breast letter in preceding scripts. Real simple. Okay, I love you. Like me and subscribe me. Bye bye. There's only one place where the so there you have it. If the person who was making the proto-Sinaitic alphabet into the Hebrew alphabet at some point and changed that letter from the W shape to the kind of grain kernel shape, if that scribe had a kitty cat who was 6.5 months old, teething, losing its baby teeth, then they might have looked at the cat's mouth and said, okay, I'm gonna make a letter based on that pair of funny looking teeth going like this, right next to each other, kind of almost parallel and definitely not symmetrical. Seems unlikely, right? Hebrew letter shin does not look like teeth. I actually think it looks like a germinating seed that's about to sprout. Maybe it's a shibboleth. Who knows? Maybe it's a bit of grain. I think that's what shibboleth means. But it looks like it's splitting, so maybe that's where the meaning of that one comes from, is that the two source meaning turns into a splitting into meaning later. And so that's what the drawing that ends up being the Hebrew letter shin is. And I'm going to prove right now that the Hebrew letter shin does not look like teeth in almost all situations by showing you the one and only counterexample, okay? Do you want to see teeth that look like the Hebrew letter shin? Okay. Here's my beautiful kitty cat, Osiris. Hey, buddy. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Can you show us your teeth, please? Can you show us your teeth, please? You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful, kitty cat. Okay, show us your teeth, baby. Show us your teeth now. Usually he wants to bite me, but right now he's actually keeping his... See, he's teething, so he's got... I'll tell you before I open up his mouth. He's got two teeth on one side and one tooth on the other side on the bottom. They're like canines, but they're felines and they're on the bottom. So one of them looks like a split double, and one of them, the tooth came off. I'm going to use it in, put in an amulet or something. I don't know. And the other one, it looked kind of freaky actually. So let's see your baby tooth next to your grown-up tooth, baby. Okay? Okay? On the bottom, maybe on the top too, I can't tell, but you see double teeth right there, okay? Can you see that? That's the only time when it looks like, when a couple of teeth look like the couple of shapes in the Hebrew letter shin. This thing can't focus right. Turn down the... Can you see that? Why can't you just focus on it? So that's what teeth look like when they look like the Hebrew letter shin. Good boy, Osiris. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. He's such a good boy. He's a little pig. Seems unlikely, right? But why did they change it then? Well, because maybe they had hang-ups about the human body, and so they didn't want to put breasts in there. Maybe it was too goddess. Maybe it made them think of goddesses too much to put a pair of breasts in their alphabet when they were writing. Perhaps, I'm imagining, religious writings. Every kind of writing was religious back then. There was no separation. Anyway, so yeah, they changed it because they were prudes, basically. Same reason they changed a bunch of stuff. Okay, that's it. I hope somebody watches this.